Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Today is it's part 2 of something. That's certain.
The quick craft chess set
Yes.
dungeon.
This time, we won't be lying.
He is going to be making some double doors and a single door and a portcullis for the dungeon, which was made out of the fake Jenga blocks. And you don't need to put glue it's mostly at the top because you're going to put glue on the bottom of the stick once you get it in there. But I just basically carved out some doorways out of foam core after I peeled off the paper and just used a pilot or a ballpoint pen to lay on the brick pattern. Once he's glued the doorway in, you should be good.
No.
Okay. And just put it on top. Give it a little time to dry. And don't worry if any of the glue, leaks over and things like that, because it's not going to be perfect. Now over here,
I cool down in a matter of seconds.
I had taken some of these wood blocks that I'd cut off the walls to make them smaller and different shaped walls, and I just turned these into some crates after I glued them to little washers, 20 millimeter washers, and just used the same old Sharpie pen to draw the chest pattern and the lines and things like that. And then I just gave it a good wash with soft tone, and I'll put those in there. I also took some of the Jenga blocks and I made little bookshelves just by drawing with the pilot pens. Thankfully, the multicolors, allowed me to make different colored, book bindings and things like that. It's just a simple thing. It looks, pretty effective from a distance. Nobody's going to get up real close and, examine it. But I also found some really cool old 25 millimeter scaled crates, and these were actually really small scale, or smaller than.
Cut them wrong. But I'm done.
Now glue the boards to the bottoms.
Oh, forgot. Sorry.
So they'll stand up. And so you could use these 25 millimeter crates and barrels as dungeon decoration. As you can see here, let me put the human fighter character next to him. You see they don't look too large or too oversized. I also found some other old Ralpartha and Grenadier floor decorations. I'm going to put this one in here so the Mind Flayer is summoning the demon. Puts treasure over there. Got some more treasure over here we can throw in for the bugbears. And then I found this little trap door piece that's perfect because it's really tiny for 28 millimeter scale. You could barely fit down there. But it works for representation to go down to the next level. And I'll put another little treasure pile here. I also, just on a goof, I took one of the crates and painted it silver, actually gunmetal, to make it look kind of like an old Western style safe. But again, as it's next to the character, it looks about right. And again, more of the various chests and crates that I was talking about. And you can find all kinds of different 25 millimeter scale, or even if you have a little bit larger scale pieces, that'll work too. It doesn't have to be 15 millimeter scale. That's what I was going for, is looking through my collection, since I'm not going to be using my old 25 millimeter lead miniatures for anything in the near future, just because they're all lead for the most part, and they don't really match up with the 28 millimeter miniatures that I use for a lot of things. But as you can see, to make a travel dungeon, this works out pretty well. You can reconfigure the walls and the doorways. You don't need to make a lot of. Oops.
It's not that hard to fix.
Okay, I just heard that snap of the foam and I knew something bad had happened.
Yeah.
And for the portcullises, all I did was just use toothpicks and filed them down a little.
Oh no.
Was Chewie trying to eat it?
No, but it just fell on him.
And I'll paint these black, dry brush them gray, and then give them a black wash, and they're good to go. You can even put a black wash over the doorways to make the wood.
Stuff cools down very fast.
And if you notice on this doorway, I actually drew the separating lines to make it a double doorway, and some little rectangles for the handles of the door. Also, while I was goofing off, I made with the Sharpie pen. I just drew some torch holders and then used a little bit of orange neon paint and some yellow paint to make some torches, just to light it up a little and break up the monotony of the walls. Let's get that doorway here. Why not? And the actual floors are just popsicle sticks, clipped off and filed. Why is that?
Why is what?
Well, look at. Oh, something was like pushing it, like it was magnetized, but there's no metal on it.
Oh, yeah.
It had that weird magnetic. Oh, maybe it's. There's a little spider web that was pulling it. Like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah. What about these? What do we do with these?
I'm just gonna make more crates later on. You really don't need that many. Once your party has moved out of a room, you can swipe it away and just redo it somewhere else if you want. But there you have it. That's our 15mm scale dungeon to take anywhere you want to go. Have a quick D&D game, or even if it's your regular game and you want to take it on the go, you don't have to take a whole lot of miniatures. Oh, I wanted to show off this little plastic case that we get from the 99-cent store.
I believe we've talked about these before.
But it literally fits
everything.
Everything. All the pieces, all the walls, all the little miniatures can fit in different cubbies. You can keep them organized. You can carry all the lead miniatures, which I use a little bit of foam padding just to pad the bottom of the container just so they don't get scratched up and bang around. It's the same with the little miniatures. And once again, all these miniatures here are courtesy of our good friend James L., who ordered them from various companies. Mostly these are Splintered Light, but there's some Essex, and I forget the other companies. But he sent us a bunch of different 15mm miniatures because he knew we wanted to get into some skirmish games, and he showed us that there's fantasy and science fiction. Even sent us a couple of John Carter miniatures, which he knew was right up my alley.
Yeah.
And so there you have it. It's pretty effective, right?
Yeah.
The little guy's going to probably be using this when he goes over to his friend's house, so they can carry everything in here and his chessboard, and that way when he's done playing D&D, he can play a game of chess with his friends who are interested in chess, and everything will fit in two small boxes, and it's pretty easy to keep track of everything. And like I said, you can tear down the dungeon, make it any shape you want. And I even saved some of the Jenga pieces so that I'm going to probably do like some wood pattern walls or something like that, just to make more variations. But I quickly realized that one set of the Jenga blocks probably isn't really enough. I mean, I could go all out and have all kinds of different wall patterns, but I wanted to keep it simple with just the dungeon walls. You could make the walls taller.
You very easily could.
And in some cases you might want to. I didn't think about doing any stairways.
It would just, you stack them on top of each other.
Right.
It's that easy.
Like I said, you can just, let's do it to the right. You just stack them. If you want taller walls for some reason, you could glue them together. And because of luck, they actually just fit in.
Perfectly.
Yeah, there's not much room.
And obviously, if you get like official Jenga and you don't get the wood stack game.
I saw somebody else using these for
the
some
wood stack game.
Yeah, the wood.
It's not Jenga. It's the wood stack game.
Right, but they were using it for something else. I forget what. It might have been Wylock or Broken Terrain, but I'm not sure. But they fit perfectly in here. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there, and you can stack them almost 3 high. So there's really plenty of room. And these we get only at the 99-cent stores for $2.99. So except for the miniatures, we paid less than $3, 4, 5, less than $7 if you had to buy the foam board, and that doesn't include the miniatures. But you get a lot of use out of this. You could even use it if you wanted to. You could paint the scale up a little differently, the bricks, and double up the walls, and you could easily use this for 28mm if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
You'd probably need about 3 or 4 sets of the Jenga blocks to glue them 2 high. instead of using Dungeons and Lasers, but Dungeons and Lasers is the best way to go. Even our buddy Connell, he's hooked. He saw them.
Dungeons and Lasers is very cool. We like them a lot.
It's the best, and you'll be seeing more of that next year. But we wanted to get through some of this stuff, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Are we doing anything tomorrow?
I don't think so.
We might be hanging out with Max, but he's got a special members only show, and we're not allowed. But we'll see you probably Sunday. I don't know if it's going to be the Sunday show because we're not done with the other chess set. So if you don't see us Sunday, that's why this month has been pretty hectic for everybody.
Mainly because we're all lazy.
You were sick that one Thursday, so.
Was I sick?
Yeah, you were. You were asleep before.
Oh yeah.
You were like just dead asleep at like 7:00. But before we go, anything you want to say?
Not really.
Really? Did you forget something?
I didn't forget anything.
What day is it?
Oh, I thought we were doing that in a separate video. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanks for stopping by. We love you guys, and
good night.
Bye, everybody.